Thunder Junction, as far as collecting is concerned, is a bit of a mess. There are 5 different set symbols, 4 of which can be found in the play boosters, with the 5th one, the commander product, also being available in collector boosters. You've got the main set here, which is for, everything in the actual set. What we used to call it back in the day just general magic. This symbol here is for the commander stuff that can only be found in the collector boosters. This is for the breaking news extra slot, which is weird because it's called the OTP slot, which makes it sound like pressing news. I don't know. Either way, these are the ones that look like newspapers, unless they don't look like newspapers. That sounds like a joke. I'm not joking. And the big expansion symbol that looks like the bottom of a starship from Star Trek. This is the old Aftermath. I say old. It was going to be an Aftermath set, a payoff for the set's story in a separate booster product that after the last Aftermath epilogue style boosters absolutely got panned both by community and by people not buying them. Wizards of the Coast have U-turned sharply and folded this into the main set. The 5th and final one is the special guest slot, which has these cards here in it for this set. Notable ones that will be coming to Magic the Gathering Arena, which is the most exciting thing about special guests for me, is that Stoneforge Mystic is now going to be on the client. Now, there are some swords and there's the new JIT and stuff. Either way, the more expansive we get with the card pool for classic cards like Stoneforge that I love, the better. I'm pretty excited about this. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the newspaper treatments, the breaking news cards, and some of the huge reprints we're seeing that will be showing up in Thunder Junction boosters. If you want to pick up a single or sealed product, use the link in the description below and the code KENOBI at checkout to get 5% off your order at coolstuffinc.com. They have singles in stock, they have sealed stuff if you want to crack some boosties and take your chances in the Old West or yeah. The breaking news slot tries to look like an old newspaper that would have been reporting on the antics of outlaws and cowboys on the frontier of the Old West. As a treatment, I've grown to quite like it from its initial reveal. I thought Thoughtseize was okay, the colour palette being the bit I'm worried about. Most of the cards, as you can see, do look like the colours they should be. Reanimate's a weird one. This is a black card where the art has got a definite green hue to it, which the other black cards don't. I think the colour coding falls down when we get to the multicolour spells. For example, Cruel Ultimatum does not look anything like Cruel Ultimatum. It doesn't even suggest to me it's going to be a big splashy Grixis spell. The arts all have this unique, in canon, what you'd expect from a drawing within a newspaper. And there's absolutely a humorous slant throughout the range of cards, which I think kind of works because, newspaper cartoonists wouldn't be depicting everything in its most serious way. Tension Sphere and Journey to Nowhere are 2 of my favourites. I think these are gorgeous in terms of what they depict. Journey to Nowhere is also an interesting one. It comes in at uncommon on the sheet, but of course was a common originally in Zendikar, and the common was also over $1, approaching $2 prior to this reprint, because it's only been printed 3 times in its history. I assume it sees a bit of play in Pauper, and it's an okay card for Enchantress decks and Commander too. But you didn't come here for $2 reprints, did you? You want to see the good stuff. Well, here's Mindbreak Trap, another card from original Zendikar that was approaching $80. Some of you that aren't familiar with old school or Eternal Magic like Legacy or Modern might not really understand what the big deal about Mindbreak Trap is. A 4-mana instant that costs 0. If 3 or more other spells have been cast this turn, that's its trap cost. Exile any number of target spells. Traps were all spells that cost far less or were free if a clause was met, if you tripped the trap. And Mindbreak Trap is looking to be tripped by people playing obnoxious combo decks. This is people in Commander playing with Aetherflux Reservoir, but mainly in Legacy and to a lesser extent Modern, this is used to stop Storm decks. You will often see Mindbreak Trap as a 2 to 4 of in the sideboards of non-blue decks, like Mono White Death and Taxes has at times played Mindbreak Trap when Storm is bigger in the format, even though its Storm matchup has been pretty good in the past. And it's not just Storm, it's any deck that's obviously casting multiple spells in the same turn, like Cephalid Breakfast and similar. You can use it to counter the end goal, the Thassa's Oracle or similar, to stop the opponent from winning. It's also good into Charbelch and other Glass Cannon decks. This card is a very, very strong free counterspell in the right situation. I'm aware that it sees CDH play as well, but I can't tell you the exact situations, but it's just quite good in a counterspell war as well. If someone fires off a Swan Song and a Flusterstorm, you can fire off a Mindbreak Trap and just exile the entire stack, including the original threats too, and just stop everyone from gaining resources. Note, it's any number of target spells, you don't have to target your own stuff, and it doesn't exile the entire stack, so if you have triggers like Esper Sentinel triggers on the stack, you still get to resolve those too. Either way, Mindbreak Tracker is an incredibly unique and powerful card that had not been reprinted for the best part of, what is that, 2009? 15 years it took to reprint this. Crazy stuff. Speaking of vendor fodder, but more likely to shop in your Commander deck even outside of CDH and similar, we've got Mana Drain showing up again. As a stark contrast to Mindbreak Trap, Mana Drain was a Legends card that got reprinted as a Judge foil and then started showing up in quite a lot of sets, actually. Iconic Masters, Commander Legends, Double Masters. It's seen numerous reprints in primarily premium priced sets. This marks its first inclusion in a booster product that is not twice as expensive as your normal booster product, which is super interesting. I think this version will actually bring the price down considerably compared to others. If you've never seen Mana Drain before, it's counterspell with upside. You get to counter someone's spell for 2 blue mana, and then you get colorless mana equal to that spell's mana cost, or mana value, or CMC if you're an old man with bad knees, in your next main phase. Mana Drain is the best 2-mana counterspell ever printed, and I don't think we'll ever see anything ever come close to being better than it, because it'd be just ludicrous power creep. This card is banned in Legacy for good reason, and it's a pretty solid reprint to see in this slot. Dipping down a little bit, we've got a $30 rare in Grindstone, another Legacy staple. It mills a player for 2 cards. If those cards share a color, you get to go again. And basically, it's an infinite combo if you have Paint a Servant naming a color in play. An absolute classic power-crept version of Millstone. Grindstone is it's iconic in Magic. Outside of Judge gift cards and inventions, it hasn't been reprinted since Tempest. Tempest came out in October 1997. It never quite got to the cost of Mindbreak Trap, because Mindbreak Trap was so unique and got to see play in multiple archetypes, where Grindstone is kind of one archetype, Paint a Servant, and that's it. But either way, great reprint to see. And the art's kind of cool too. It's got a very foreboding and different feel to it than the classic head to the Grindstone. Leyline's Binding gets a reprint, which is good. This card is still $10, and in standard rare that's seeing play across multiple formats, especially Modern and Legacy alongside Guild Pact and similar, and your ability to get domain online with fetch lands and triumphs very easily. Now, Leyline Binding reprint is good. It's just funny to see these things get reprinted into standard. I guess this is part of them trying to deal with the fact that they're going to keep a 3-year rotation and trying to keep cards readily available. No sign of Shieldred though. Dust Bowl was an absolute shoo-in for being in the set. I'm glad we saw it, either here or the guest slots, like with Desert. Desert? I can't believe I just pronounced desert as dessert. That's so funny. Dust Bowl, for the low cost of 3 mana and tapping itself, allows you to turn one of your other lands into a wasteland, allowing you to destroy target non-basic land. I love land destruction and land disruption like this. I love Wasteland, I love Dust Bowl, I love Strip Mine. Dust Bowl was great. This card was around $20 from the original Mercadian Masks and had a Zendikar Expedition, which ended up being more expensive than the original. This version will probably be the most easily and cheaply available one, even more so than the Gold Border World Champion deck. I've seen this pre-ordering for as low as €3, so it might be good to get in on this before that climbs a little bit. Pest Infestation from Commander 2021. This card has not had a reprint since that set, and we finally get one in Breaking News with some rather quaint art. Big fan of this card, big fan of it in Cube too, especially Vintage Cube because it's so good at blowing up artifacts and enchantments. Yeah, a solid reprint again. Archmage's Charm sees a solid amount of play in some Eternal formats as a counterspell with 1 extra mana strapped to it that gives you all sorts of extra upside. Quite a powerful card. Its price tag has been around $5 because it doesn't see huge amounts of ubiquitous play, but it's a good reprint nonetheless. Archive Trap is around $15 at time of recording, and it's another linchpin part of Mill. The interesting thing about Archive Trap being in the Breaking News section here is that it's coming to Arena, and thus we're getting a lot of the good toys from Mill. I'll come to another one in a moment. Either way, again, another Zendikar card that's had almost no reprints, just seeing itself land on the list last year. I don't know why they're so adverse to reprinting cool spells from Zendikar. Again, another trap that costs 0 if you meet the requirement, which is searching in our library. With fetches coming to Arena recently and now this, I'm pretty excited to play some Mill. On the topic of Mill, if you're putting things in people's graveyards, you can surgically extract their game plan with Surgical Extraction. This card used to be quite expensive, but I don't really know how it's got so cheap, considering it hasn't had that many reprints since it first showed up in New Phyrexia. Interesting take on the art, very powerful effect. I'm glad this is finally coming to Arena. It means a lot of people can put it in their sideboards and probably side it in too much against certain decks. Surgical's very good at taking apart combos. If you can disrupt a combo with a counter spell or a removal spell and then surgically extract that part of the combo, and it stops you being threatened by the combo for the rest of the game, it's pretty strong. People tend to bring it in even though they can't do that. They can't even disrupt one part of the combo, let alone put it into the bin and then extract it. Surgical Extraction is one of the most misplayed cards in Magic's history. Path to Exile gets another treatment here, which is, it's not really remarkable or exciting or anything, but it's interesting because Path to Exile gets reprinted in pretty much every Commander product. So we now have Doctor Who art, we have Fallout art, and now we've got Man on Horse riding into the sunset art. Commandeer, the Mighty Have Fallen. This card used to be like $10-20 if I remember correctly. It might be 7 mana, but really you just exile 2 blue cards from your hand rather than paying its mana cost, and you gain control of target non-creature spell. So you just steal something big. Normally something absolutely huge like a Torment of Hellfire or something game-winning when it comes to Commandeer. Indomitable Creativity gets its first reprint since Aether Revolt. Yeah, this card is creeping up in price. It's approaching $10 because it is a combo finisher in both Pioneer and Modern. It's good to see a reprint. One weird reprint, if you're taking a break from like the good ones right now, is Buried in the Garden. Like, it doesn't really evoke the Old West for me. Even the man trapped underneath the tree, for example. And this was only just brought into Magic by Murders at Cardiff Manor. So when I saw it on the sheet, I thought that was very strange. My only thought is that this was once Oubliette or something else, and then they changed it at some point during development, and then just like palette shifted the colour scheme of the art or something. I'm not really sure. Maybe it was the card that turned something into a forest, Song of the Dryads or whatever, and they didn't think it was Dryadic enough. Who knows? Well, the people who know is wizards, but anyway. Force of Vigor gets a reprint. This is an absolute staple across Modern and Legacy. It's the free pitch spell for Modern Horizons 1, and it was currently sat at minimum $20. Powerful Commander card, incredible Legacy and Modern card. This card will always demand some sort of price tag. I can't imagine it's ever getting really power-crept out of Magic. And Contagion Engine gets its first booster set reprint outside of the list. Originally printed as cards of Mirrored in, this card was $20 at the moment. I talked about it recently as a non-budget upgrade for a Commander deck. It got into the list, got into a Secret Lair, a beautiful Secret Lair by Nils Hams. And now we have this. Not a big fan of the art. It seems too messy to me. I get it is some sort of agent spreading contagion. Agent? God, I can't say words today. But it's a cool reprint nonetheless. And lastly, a reprint that once upon a time was expensive is now sub $5. It's Mindslaver. And the reason I bring this one up is because it means it's coming to Arena, meaning we can recur this with Emery and similar, and we can get really good at taking other people's turns with our stupid artifact combo decks. Mindslaver locks have been a big part of Eternal Magic for a long, long time, normally combo with Academy Ruins that still hasn't made it to the client, so I'm very happy to see Mindslaver land on the client for playing in Historic Brawl and Gladiator and similar. Yeah, solid reprint, mainly for the Arena application as well. I find it very interesting that when I look at these sheets, sometimes I'm thinking, oh, it's good that that card will come down in price. But other ones I'm just like, fuck yeah, I finally get to play with it in digital after waiting for years for it to come to Arena. I mean, they exist on Modo still, and we still play Modo, of course. But some formats like Historic Brawl or similar aren't on the Modo client, so we play them on Arena. Either way, I look forward to probably getting Mindslaver locked more than I do the Mindslaver locking, but I'll certainly be trying it in a video. All in all, I'm pretty happy with the reprints we're seeing here. There is some other like chaff stuff in here. There are 65 breaking news cards total, 20 of which are uncommon, 30 are rare, 15 mythic rares, but there is going to be one in every booster. So this is the equivalent of the retro artifact frames or the multiversal madness crossover slot. We will be seeing one in every single booster. I hope you open more Force of Vigors than you do Hypothesizals, and I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ta for now.